Welcome back to the Ravens offseason roundtable for January 30th, 2023. And I hate to start off my week like this, but my weekend kind of started like this, so I might as well kick it back into gear for the time being. Marcel Allen, if you've never been on this side of the situation and know that buttons get pressed and things be wrong, and when your stuff get messed up, situations go like that, and for you to just assume and put that immature statement in the comment section, that says a lot. You didn't give a chance. You didn't say why is it on or asking the question. You just went straight and assumed. So that tells me a lot about what you rocking with. So I just wanted to let you know that I see you comment, and no, you don't run nothing over here. I do. And if it was on by mistake, it was on by mistake. But you ain't wait to see if that was an issue. Now, back to sports. Flo, we had the two conference championship games this week, and we're going to talk about that. But before we get into this weekend and the Ravens for this week and a few other different topics, I'm going to bring in all my co-hosts. So we're going to start with Hendo here. What up, Hendo?
Hello there. What's going
on? Hey, you always have different pictures in the background. For those that don't know, explain what's going on behind you.
It's just LeBron throwing a little temper tantrum. That was me this weekend when it was like no Ravens games. I'm like, I gotta watch these other teams and see what good football is.
Oh,
did I say that?
Shots, everybody.
My bad.
Next up, Mikey. How you doing today, Mike?
What's up, man? Do we got to get out of pocket to start the show? I mean,
don't. Hey, Mike, don't set me in that mood, bro.
I'm just asking. I'm just checking.
I mean, since I had already started it a couple days ago, I might as well just only stay in. But I'll come out of it soon.
All right. What up, good people?
Appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Last but not least for today, Jose and B.
Hey, Marcel, don't even worry about it. Go ahead and throw $5 real quick on it. You know what I'm saying? And we just move on. Okay,
like loonies.
There you go.
Chris has a situation he's dealing with. We want to say shout out to Chris. Make sure he stays within arm length and use his Heisman as he deals with that situation at home. Because they will get you.
Facts.
But let's start off with the two. Well, we'll start with the two games from yesterday, the AFC and the NFC conference championships. With that early game, we'll talk about the Eagles and the 49ers, and just give me your opinion on it, and what stood out to you, what was wild or crazy to you. And I'll start with you, Hendo.
What was wild and crazy to me is the number one defense in the league got 31 points hung on them, while everybody out here screaming defense wins championships. If you don't score points, you don't win games. And exactly. The Eagles defense, which I think I saw someone on Twitter earlier, like they were 25th in run defense and some other BS. They knocked out two quarterbacks.
But think about their D tackles too. Jordan Davis, the rookie. I'm just saying, Fletcher Cox. Jordan Davis, third string. Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
And Ndamukong Suh.
I didn't know they had Ndamukong Suh.
I didn't even know that. Like, so I didn't know he was on the team.
And Linval Joseph as well, right? He's still.
Is he on there?
Yeah,
Linval. Yeah,
they signed him on back-to-back days.
Yeah. And Robert Quinn didn't even play. So luckily for the 49ers, they had some people sitting out. But defense was championships.
All of it, Mikey.
Man, it's look for my wife. She's happy. She's an Eagles fan, but man, I hate to see a game of that magnitude kind of go down like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially so early, right? He went out early. You know what I mean? And even though Josh Johnson probably has a jersey for every NFL team in the league, that he's okay. But I mean, and even him going down early. So I hated to see it go down like that. I think the better team won. I had Philly winning the game, but I just hate to see a game with so much on the line in like that due to injury and injury affecting the game like that.
B?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Mike and Hendo. Obviously defense doesn't win championships. I'm tired of hearing it. And you can't even put that on injury. They gave up a 11-play touchdown drive on the first possession of the game.
Mm-hmm.
To Mike's point, like, I didn't have the 49ers winning this. I thought that Philly was going to win. I thought they were the better team, but they kind of robbed us of the chance to see San Francisco, possibly at their best. Also, I was a little disappointed. I was ready to see my guy Christian McCaffrey get under center and lead the comeback, but they
want to do it.
Well, I will say this: a couple runs in that game that CMC made.
Whew.
I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
Yeah,
he one way bounced off the right, and somebody smacked him. He looked at him and went on in the end zone.
I get that way, boy.
Right, Jose.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get a little controversial here. I'm gonna say they wouldn't have been at their best even with Brock Purdy because Trey Lance is their best quarterback. Yeah. Okay.
Facts. Facts.
Yes.
You got controversy. Is he? Because they didn't even like him in training camp.
I think had Brock Purdy got hurt last week and they gave Josh Johnson a whole week of practice to go out for this game, it would have looked a little different. Okay, I think I think look, you know how I feel about the Shanahans. I don't like them, but Kyle's a damn good coach, man, and I just think he's doing an amazing job no matter who's at center. And even when Josh Johnson came in, they didn't get run over immediately. They scored a touchdown. Obviously Josh Johnson's limited. That's why he's been on damn near every football team. But he does, he does deliver a little bit of something, a little bit of competitiveness. And the score got away towards the end, but it was competitive for a little bit. So,
I think their defense finally broke in the second half when they realized the offense couldn't do anything. Their defense finally broke.
Tough.
When I watched it again today, and they played well enough. I don't say to win, but for it to be a tighter game than it was. They played some good defense.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know the Eagles defense was as good as they were. I did not know that.
You know what stood out to me in that game? That Eagles O-line.
Oh yeah.
They were physical. Every fourth and short down situation, they didn't even think about it. They're like, just go right out there. You see what they did at the goal line? You see what they did at the goal line with the QB sneak? They QB sneak for them too. They're like, go again. Don't worry. We got it.
Right.
That's confidence in your O-line. That's confidence in your offense.
But the crazy part, Jose, is they run the same fourth down play every game and get it every time.
Every time, yeah.
It's the push from the material guys, and it's just the want to. The want to it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how when you talked about the Shanahans, Jose, how everybody give them credit for this run game, but when you get 4 guys up front, well, actually 6 guys, because the outside linebackers was going to work too. All them running lanes don't appear. Right. So it's really, like I was telling the other guy, it's Trent Williams and the trickeration that Shanahan has, but the other 3 O linemen, they average.
Yep.
They average. Well, actually, it's Trent and Kittle, and the little different things that he does in the background. Yeah. Kittle basically an O lineman too. Yeah. You get a tight end with some dog in them, and because all they run is counter stuff.
But typically they usually do well up front. Like their schemes, they make sure they get the right O lineman up there.
But the Eagles have had probably the top O lineman for about 4 or 5 years now. I know that shortly after they dismantled that what they thought was a dream team before they got hurt, they start building from within, which is what I think people got to do anyway. Let's talk about speaking of controversy, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. So basically, from what I'm seeing on Twitter and whatnot, it was the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Chiefs and the Zebras, according to them.
Oh,
I don't think that way because Kansas City beat them in every statistical category. If Mahomes don't, I said they lucky. When it happened, I said they're lucky because us jumping over the top, they got the touchdown return back. Mahomes trying to throw the quick little bubble, and he drops the ball. If that don't happen, they're down 14, and they're not even close. It's on the verge of getting blowed out with a guy with 1.5 legs. What you think about that one, Jose?
Yeah, no, I agree because that was about to be it for them. I was thinking the same thing when that happened. I was like, they about to get lucky again because in our game, the Ravens, like, had we scored on that last drive, backbreaker, they weren't coming back. That would have been it, right? But they made the play and it went the other way for them. And that situation too, I was like, man, Kansas City about to put it away. The Bengals just didn't look great. They had a couple of nice plays. Obviously, when you have great players, that can happen. But just as a whole, they didn't look great. And I was like, yeah, they about to put this away. And then that happened, and they're able to score. But man, let me tell you something. Eli Apple, he's sending that dude flowers, right? As soon as that, what I'm saying, as soon as he saw that late hit, he was like, oh, thank God. Thank God, because they was gonna cook me. He's like, but now all attention's on you, my friend. And it's a bad play. Yes. It was a bad play, man. Like, I hate that they had to call it there, but you had to call it. You know what I'm saying? You had to call it, and I hate it because that was the game. That gave them, that put them in field goal range to seal the game. So I mean, who knows what would have happened if that didn't happen.
I really like the it was one of his teammates, and I don't remember his name. I tweeted it earlier though. The guy that stood with him when he was having to answer those questions after the game.
I think it was BJ Hill.
That's who it was. Okay. BJ Hill. I got a lot of respect for that dude to stand in the fire with him because I know he probably was just as disappointed as the next person. And who was the linebacker that said something?
Jermaine Pratt.
Jermaine Pratt. Mm-hmm. Like and he was saying that's his last time. Is he at the age of retirement or they not bringing him back?
He free agent.
Okay.
Yeah, his contract up. So
yeah,
he probably know, like, man, they ain't bringing me back. Or maybe he priced himself out of there. Who knows?
Yeah, he played pretty well, so it's hard to say.
They got a little overload at that outside linebacker position, though.
But
Logan Pratt, Akeem Gaither-Davis, and they got one more cat.
Yeah, but do you think he was wrong though?
Wrong for touching Mahomes?
No. When he was going back to the locker room talking about, man, why you hit him? Just the frustration. Like you're literally a couple plays away from the Super Bowl.
I mean, players get mad in the moment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say he was wrong.
If he was saying it today, that'd be different.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he was wrong. I just, because I might would have did it too, but not. By the time I got that far in the locker room, I'd probably been out. I probably would have said it right when it happened. And, been frustrated, like, right within the moment, like Jose was saying, within the, 5 to 10 minutes after it happened. But, I mean, it's past now, so. Unless this was just, like, it for him. That's why I thought it was it for him, because the way he was acting. I could be wrong. Rodney, what you think about the game?
I mean, I thought that the referees were overblown by Bengals fans, and I don't hear the Bengals fans talking about Mark Andrews getting pushed down from behind on that touchdown return this week, which is kind of weird since we're discussing the referee so much. But when it comes to Asai, I don't think that cost them the game. I mean, they were in field goal range already, even without the penalty. I think he probably. Well, I mean, just from the run, from Mahomes' run, they were in field goal range. I think he probably would have made it even without the penalty. Obviously, it made it easier.
Well, what was it, a 40-yard kick or something like that?
It ended up being 45. So they said they moved the ball back a little bit. So it would have been, they said originally it looked like it would have been about a 55, 57-yard field goal somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Butker's career long is 62. He kicked back this year. I mean, obviously it's not a guarantee, but And for Pratt, I mean, I understand players get angry, but why weren't you screaming about how you hit Isaiah Pacheco at the line and suddenly Isaiah Pacheco was 13 yards downfield getting the first down?
The funny part about that play is
facts.
Tony Romo almost saying on camera. That's the very play Tony Romo potentially almost said the N-word on
camera.
That very play.
Wow. And Jose already pointed out the Eli Apple play, where you got the sack and he's downfield holding and gives him a first down on the redo. Like, there's a lot of things that went wrong. He mentioned Pat Mahomes is on one leg. How did he throw that touchdown to Marquez Valdez-Scantling? How'd you?
That was amazing. That was amazing.
And that's really the takeaway from this game for me, is that Pat Mahomes is the guy. Period. You know,
Hands down.
You called it, B. You said it doesn't matter if he hits the ball out there in one leg. He only needs his arm.
Yep. And his brain.
Yeah.
Mike.
I think if they're gonna be mad at anybody, they need to be mad at Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton started all of this smoke with this barrelhead and all of that stuff. And clearly that was on the mind of that entire team.
Mm-hmm.
So, he started that whole, bulletin board material for them this week. And hey, it turned from barrelhead to Mahomes' house. So, but I do the refs look. I'm not putting the game on them. I will say it wasn't a good look in the way some of it went down. Like the redo play. Like I mean, the whole play goes by and you're like, wait, they get to do that.
What do
over
you?
again?
I mean, so when they showed that replay, the ref was coming out there blowing the whistle, trying to stop the play.
He was.
That's tough, but they ran a whole play. Like,
but you ain't gonna. Those dudes are like in their mid-60s. You ain't running in the middle of 22. Of the world's finest athletes trying to get them to stop.
I don't blame them for that. But it's a tough situation. I don't blame them for that. Right? Like the whole play ran. They blew the whistle dead and everything. They're like, yeah, that shouldn't have counted. Like that's tough. I think they did the right move ultimately, because if they ran the play and then later on they're like, hey, the ref was trying to stop the play, and then they let it go. They would have gotten crushed for that. But man, that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if they just let it go and the Bengals found out later that they should have had 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just didn't look good. But I mean, I was very, very skeptical of Mahomes on one. I mean, look, how many people do we know with high ankle sprains that they're out for weeks?
Yeah.
So obviously he was in some pain. But I mean, the brother due for 300 and something yards still, and it was just like, wow. I was not expecting that. I honestly didn't think he would finish the game. Going into it, like, man, there's no way he's gonna finish this game. But look, he's a bad man. Kansas City is tough, and they showed it, man. It's not, I mean, the Bengals, look, good team, great team, right? They got the pieces to be good for a long time. Well, we'll see how when they open up this checkbook, we'll see how it goes.
Right.
But they show some holes on that team. It could be depth wide or even the O-line, man. And that's been the thing that we've been talking about for years with them. But you can't, the play to me that ended the game for them was giving up that sack to Chris Jones on that third down play. That's what couldn't happen right there. And that old line buckled like an old lawn chair, and Chris Jones got in there. So Cincinnati, their fans can be as mad as they want and blame the rest, but there are some things that they need to shore up for that team to, I think, get over the hump.
Hendo?
Two things for me. First, I can't remember. Oh no, I think it was an anonymous reporter that early in the year was like, "Oh yeah, that Patrick Mahomes, he just plays playground football. He just scrambles around and just throws the ball up."
That's
I think that he showed them yesterday. Oh yeah, watch what I do from the pocket.
Right.
And this is with McCole Hardman going down, Travis Kelce with a back injury, Juju Smith-Schuster going out. Kadarius dropped that touchdown. I'm from Florida. Tony,
you gotta stop, man. Like, again, I tell you, it's been 20 years since FSU has put a decent receiver in the NFL.
This is my time,
I don't care. This is all our time. It's all our time, man. And it ain't your time if you're just gonna be up here spreading hate. All right?
I didn't spread hate. Did he drop a touchdown?
Florida State been garbage for years.
Hey, coach, did he drop a touchdown?
He got hurt in that play.
He did get hurt.
How many players get hurt while they're still holding on to the ball?
Oh, I bet I know where he's going with that one. Is it Anquan?
No, I wasn't going with Anquan. Somebody happened this year. They got knocked out of a game, but they held on to the football.
You giving credit for the rigor mortis?
Right.
Anywho, like I was saying, Patrick Mahomes did his thing despite having a bevy of his receivers being out. Like, he showed why he is the best quarterback in the NFL. My second takeaway from the game, and this is to all you Ravens fans, please stop. Please stop talking about the Bengals and Burrow are trash. This dude been in the league 3 years. He's been to 2 AFC championship games and a Super Bowl. And y'all like, oh, Cincinnati garbage. Joe Burrow's trash. What has this team done in the last 3 years? Exactly.
Drops.
Yeah, I see D3 saying something like that too. Will Joe Burrow get the same slander Josh Allen got last week? I didn't see any slander for Josh Allen. I must have missed that. And what?
Very minimal.
It wasn't. His slander wasn't on the big networks, but he caught his fan base kind of. I was surprised that the fan base went after him a little bit and the coaching staff.
I'm not surprised. Buffalo fans don't play that, man. Like, they don't want to hear that nonsense, yo. Like, even in wins, go listen to some of these Buffalo YouTubers. Even when they win, they're like, yeah, Josh, man, you got to step up. Like, they're very critical of their team.
One second. One thing, Coach. Listen, I'm not trying to say nothing about our fans, but there's a gentleman that does the Kansas City Chiefs. He does live stream for Kansas City Chiefs, and it just so happened I caught it about 4:00 this morning. I'm not talking nothing about our fans. I love y'all. I love the people in the chat. But this dude made a couple $1,000s off of super chats last night.
Ooh.
I'm sitting there. He got a 400, 250. I'm sitting there like, yikes.
Sheesh.
In the world.
What else are they gonna spend their money on in Kansas City?
Right. You sure that ain't the man in the wolf suit? Send them all them super chats that was robbing the bank. You heard about that? He Superman come to the game in the wolf suit. He was robbing people in the wolf suit.
People just don't be thinking, man.
And then you go to the game in the same thing, and
right
run around trying to be seen on the jumbotron.
They'll never know it's me.
So he walked in the bank with a Pat Mahomes jersey on. Pick him up. But my thoughts on this is really they had one matchup that I felt like the Ravens took advantage of and didn't do it enough. So the right guard, Calais, was kind of whipping that guy. And once we put a 0, Calais at the 1, and then the 3, and then another 5 out there, that person got beat. I can't remember his number a lot by Calais. So that's what Kansas City did. They kind of did the same thing, but instead of it being Calais, it was Chris Jones. And Chris Jones got busy. Yeah. He got extremely busy on that cat. And then they bumped him out to a 5. And he, that's because he's so fast, that's almost like a mismatch, especially when he knows his pass rush.
Oh,
but to me, he really changed it. Go ahead,
He did. I'm sorry. And like I said last week to somebody on this panel, Frank Clark is more than just a dude.
Yeah, that was me, I think.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Showed up too.
I'm just saying.
Definitely. I honestly didn't think nobody could hold them to like we did. I didn't. I thought they could lose, but I thought they would have had to be outscored. Yeah. The Chiefs defense took our blueprint and was able to execute it just as good, but they had more help on offense.
And that's with Snead getting hurt at cornerback for the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. With him getting hurt. Because the Burrow made 3 throws in that game that 2 went his way and 1 didn't. But all 3 of them could have not went his way. The out and up to Jamar Chase, the out and up to T. Higgins, which got intercepted, and then the other ball to T. Higgins, or 4 throws. The other ball to T. Higgins that got intercepted, and the one that got caught. Those basically were the same throws.
Yeah.
2 of them, it's 50-50 balls. That Kansas City won 2, they won 2. But really, all he doing is giving his guys a chance because he trusts them so much. So a lot of his interceptions are based off of, I just feel like you better than him because they were not open.
Yeah. But you see how it feels and it looks when you have wide receivers. So this is what I think those are perfect examples, Coach, of what we've talked about on this show of having a number 1 wide receiver and somebody that can win 50-50 plays like that. Right. That one he threw up to Higgins was like, it was 2 people over there.
Right.
Right. But like you said, he trusts them and he likes his chances in those times. The out and up to Chase on 4th and whatever it was.
Right. 4th and 6. Yeah.
You throw it up and he gonna win the play. That's what it looks like when you got a number one wide receiver.
Yep.
So all of that, all these wide receivers need a chance. We have wide receivers. That's what we lack. We lack a guy when Lamar is under duress or he needs somebody to make a play for him. He could throw it up to him, and they are going to help him out in those situations. That's just what we don't have. But those were perfect examples of what it looks like when you got that on your team.
We could have had T. Higgins
even in the first game with Devontae. When Jalen scrambled and he just gave it up and granted that catch ain't the norm, but still you had a guy that can go get it.
Yep. So, Coach, we could have had T. Higgins, but we took Patrick Queen.
Come on.
You got the number one linebacking duo in the NFL now, several years later.
We can't have the Queen slander for a week.
It's not even about Queen slander. It's about T. Higgins. It's not about Queen.
Oh, let's bring that point up because the Bengals are so good at receiver and they're so bad at O-line. Where's the because I know we want the opposite. We claim we want the opposite. We want more receivers, but at the cost, do we want receivers at the cost of O-line?
Coach, is our O-line really that special? Honestly,
I think it's better than what we saw from Cincinnati.
Okay, but let's not make that. Let's not make that the bar. Do we?
Well, yes, then
is it though?
Yes,
because I don't know. Is it if you throw the ball as much as Cincinnati? Is it much better than Cincinnati's O-line?
Well, that's you're right because I don't know. That's comparing two different strategies.
What's a throw?
They better run blocking for sure. But I don't know if they would. They're going to keep Lamar up, right? I mean, he's finished the last couple of years on the sidelines.
That's because a tight end was blocking the defensive end. Don't forget now. We know. We know the tight end blocking the defensive end. That don't work
at all.
Unless somebody's named George Kittle.
It don't work, but 32 offensive coordinators in the NFL do it constantly.
Doubles, hopefully, most of the time. Let's talk about the after the game shenanigans. And I forgot to mention this when we talked about it earlier. Eli Apple and his mom.
Again?
No. So basically every 31 other teams plus the rest of America got together and went after Eli Apple on Twitter. But then somebody pulled up his mom's Twitter and she either deactivated it or deleted it. So nobody could find it.
Really?
So I think I set up another hour and a half after the game and I typed in Eli Apple in the search on Twitter, just read tweets. I know I laughed for 45 minutes.
Oh, they crushed him.
Normally, his mother is the one that gets on Twitter and defends him. So they made her delete her account.
I don't think she was expecting that, like you said, 31 other teams to band together.
Wow.
Like, it was fans from rival teams, like banding together to get this dude. So. But he always, he want to smoke. Jose and I were talking about it yesterday. There was a meme out where they showed like a rotten apple, and it said Eli Apple when he's on the field, and then it showed a nice shiny red apple on Twitter. Like he talks like he's just, you know what I mean? But on the field, he just ain't it. So.
Yeah.
But he welcomes the smoke, and this is what you deal with. This is what's going to come with it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was funny. Anytime you let Bread Man cook you on a slant go, it ain't good for you. And we all know Bread Man is D-Rob.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about I think Mikey put this in there. What are the 49ers plans now that all three of their quarterbacks are hurt and probably out for a significant period of time? Probably going to come back at different times throughout the year, but they're back to square one. And Mike, since you brought it up, I'll let you start with it.
No, yeah. So the news. I mean, there was talks going into this game. Like, look, this is Purdy's team now. It's his job to lose. And honestly, they were going into, in my opinion, a situation where it was win-win, right? If they really believed in him, that's cool because he's not going to cost you a lot. And Trey Lance, they all on rookie contracts, so they were in a situation where they didn't have to absolutely rush to get rid of either one of them because they're not paying them a lot. Now, Purdy's injury, talking about 6 months recovery, basically is a Tommy John surgery. So now
Ooh.
you don't know what you get in and how healthy Trey Lance will be coming off of his injury, which was horrific.
Mhm.
So it's like, what do they do there? Do they bring back Jimmy G now? There's talks of the Golden Boy going back home and playing in his hometown, San Francisco, and Tom Brady. So it's going to be an interesting offseason for them for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy because Jimmy G's done. He reworked that deal once he came back.
He could
It was
walk.
1 year. He's done. Unless so they're gonna have to break bread either with him or go to bat with two rookies that's coming off injuries. So they better spend their money on auxiliary players because that quarterback situation not gonna be good for them unless Brady do come for one swan song. B, what you think about old San Francisco?
I thought that, I mean, if you want to slam the window shut, you call Tom Brady. Like, that dude can't play anymore. But I think they're going to come back. You know, I think Trey will be all right. You know, he got injured very, very early.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was week 2, I believe. He got hurt, had a couple surgeries. So I would expect him to be ready to go. You know, come training camp, come preseason, all that. Obviously, Brock Purdy, he's going to miss probably at least some of training camp.
Mm-hmm.
So my expectation is that Trey Lance is going to be the de facto starter for the 49ers next year. And then we'll see it play out. You know, if they really like Purdy, if it turns out he's got something, you know, they'll probably keep him for another year or two and then try to trade him off. But I think it's going to be Trey Lance still as the guy there. I think that, you know, Brock Purdy, he's been in there just to not make mistakes, and they drafted Trey Lance to make plays. You know, so I think that Trey is going to be the guy.
Jose?
No, I agree. I think Trey Lance is the guy that's who they made the investment in, and you know, an unfortunate injury happened early on, but I don't think they lost any faith in him. And like B said, like they want somebody that can make plays because the way that offense moves, the way they run the ball, you add. That's their version of Lamar Jackson, right? You add somebody that can run on their own, it opens up so much for them. And somebody like Kyle Shanahan can do wonders with that type of quarterback, and he's got a cannon for an arm. So I think I think that's still the plan.
You know.
So yeah, I think the plan is for Trey Lance to come back. And like I said, he did get hurt early enough, but just like J.K. Dobbins, he got hurt in the preseason and he wasn't ready to start this year. You know, from things that I've heard or read or some things, they didn't have the utmost faith in Trey Lance, you know, but they want him to be the quarterback because they gave up a lot of draft capital to get him.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, something that I see is them possibly doing a restructured deal with Derek Carr, making a trade for him, bringing him on the team for like a year or two or something like that. That would give them time to develop Trey Lance because I don't think he's ready. He had limited play in college. You know, he didn't look ready because Tom Brady's going to the Las Vegas Raiders with Davante Adams. So
don't say that. Why would you say that?
Because that's where he's going. He's gonna be reunited with Josh McDaniels.
He'll always be taking stuff too far.
What are you talking about? Brady is going to be reunited with Josh McDaniel, and he's going to throw to Davante Adams. What is wrong with that?
Why wouldn't it be Aaron Rodgers being reunited with Davante Adams? Why it got to be Tom Brady? The dude can't throw anymore.
Because Aaron Rodgers is not leaving Green Bay. And I don't think that the Raiders have the money or wherewithal to want to take on a $50 million contract a year. That's not what they want to do.
Yeah. That's a lot of change.
It
especially
is
for a guy that's definitely headed down.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, a lot of teams want to win, and if you look at Tom Brady's career, every other year, technically, that he's been in the league, he's gone to a Super Bowl. So half of his NFL career, he's played in a Super Bowl. And even if he physically can't get it done, you want to bring that winning mentality and that winning culture into your locker room to cultivate the younger players to hopefully, if you do have a quarterback in wait, show him how to prepare, show him how to film study and do all these other things. So, I mean, depending on the price tag, it wouldn't be bad for him throwing to Davante Adams and Davante getting 800 yards and 3 touchdowns this season. Nothing wrong with that.
I can't stand you.
Now,
stand you.
Rahib Ali made a point saying Philly's proven that you can win running a Ravens offense and go into Super Bowl with it. Ravens just need those wide receivers. They also have better passing schemes than us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't run a Ravens offense. They run an NFL offense.
and
you know what? You won't get any blowback from me on that one. You got that one.
Listen. I'm just waiting because Coach, your homeboy, and his homegirl was in that stream. Like, yeah, the Ravens let go of Greg Roman. He's going to be unemployed for like 30 seconds. These teams are going to snatch him up so fast. And I'm sitting there. It's this coach chat. I don't want to start no smoke.
I'm sorry.
I don't want no smoke. You ever see
my homeboy, my homegirl.
You ever see the Wu-Tang documentary on Hulu? And they did a thing on Bobby Digital.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, just take what you want from that Bobby Digital.
And then you like that song called Sarah Smile?
Yeah. Oh, Hall & Oates. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yeah. So yeah, they were just like, he's gonna get a job so fast. And I'm sitting there looking at them like I should comment, but man.
Greg just chilling.
Is he gonna get snatched up as a what? Like a running back coach or something?
College recruiter?
Man, he over in Thailand chilling with what's his name?
Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm telling
you guys, I don't want a job.
We perfect for Roman, like one of the military academies.
Yeah,
that would be perfect for him.
Oh, Navy, yeah,
that'd be perfect for him.
They don't throw the ball at all.
Army,
yeah.
Whichever one it is, that would fit him just right.
He'd be right at home.
All right, so I have another question, and I put this question on Twitter yesterday, and I guess I need to be talked into. Eric Bieniemy is the hot name that everybody's saying that wants to leave KC, and a lot of Ravens fans are talking about. We need Eric. My thing was, if I'm not leaving an offensive coordinator job for a head coaching job, and I'm going, in a lateral move, why would I leave the best player in the NFL and possibly, the best receiver in the NFL? Why would I go laterally to take that job and leave that behind me?
I think because, the league has proven to him over and over that they are not going to hire him just because he's the offense coordinator for the best offense in the NFL, who's always in, contention for a Super Bowl, like they hire every other coordinator for. So I think the thought is I'll go somewhere else and Andy Reid won't be there, and I'll prove that I can coordinate an offense on my own, and then I'll get a head coaching job. No, I mean, I don't know that there's merit to that thought, but, that's the only reason that I could see him, being willing to leave Kansas City.
I have another reason. Kansas City don't want him. Like they tried to get rid of him this offseason, but they figured let's bring it back for one more go round. And I think that, just their personalities, because a lot of players that leave there say that they don't like Eric Bieniemy. I don't know how true it is, but why not go somewhere else and prove that you can do with another franchise? You take this Ravens franchise and you take Lamar if he comes back, and you turn him into a whole nother player, and you turn this into a totally different offense, and we possibly go in and win a couple playoff games. Now you can't be denied for a head coaching job because it's like you can't say Andy Reid was the puppeteer for everything that's going on. I mean, you they will try, but it'll be hard for them to say it and deny him, and they'll probably be one downtrodden franchise, probably the Arizona Cardinals, that'll hire somebody and fire him again at the end of the year and start over.
Mm-hmm. Jose?
That was the rumor last year, right? That Kansas City, that was reported that they were having a talk whether or not to bring him back, and then they decided on 1 year deal, and maybe it's documented their the friction between him and Mahomes and all that stuff. So maybe it's a personality thing, but here they are in the Super Bowl again, and once you make it this far, that tends to change the minds a lot of times, right? Like, hey, you can't stand this person, but it's working, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they don't get along. Maybe a lot of players don't like how his message is delivered, but clearly something's working. And if they win it again, it's hard to break up a winning formula. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm not 100% certain that he even leaves Kansas City. I can see them, especially if they win. I can see them saying, let's keep this thing going. Let's re-up him, and maybe Andy Reid doesn't have that many years left coaching, and he'll be the coaching and waiting, something like that. So I'm not 100% convinced that he's going to go unless that Colts job that's been rumored that he's in line for, or they requested to interview him for. If that comes through and he becomes a head coach, that's the only way I see him going. But I definitely don't see him coming to Baltimore without a Lamar deal done. Let's say that, right? If he's going for another coordinator job, it's not going to be for Tyler Huntley.
Pro Bowler?
Yeah.
Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley?
Yeah.
Cut it out here, though.
I'm just saying, at the time that Tyler Huntley got voted fourth alternate for the Pro Bowl, he had 400 yards passing, a touchdown, and 4 interceptions.
Look, man, somebody got to go.
Right.
Trevor Lawrence.
Somebody got to go play flag football. Somebody. Trevor's probably too busy at the Waffle House. It's on you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I said it last week. Like, I think you guys said it already too. Like, only way I can see him leaving and taking a lateral move is, to kind of try to get away from the narrative that he's not really the one calling the plays. There's no real indication that he's not. I mean, I think what you see is you see them bouncing off of each other. Andy might say, all right, I got it right here. You know what I mean? Or I got this set that I want to call. And otherwise, Eric is called a game. But that's the only way I could see him leaving. Outside of it, him getting a head coaching job. But and then, to Hendo's point, sometimes, a change of scenery, might be good for him. Because he went from, magically went from being the hottest coaching candidate in the league to now he's, barely mentioned as a head coach, which is just odd to me. So maybe there's maybe he feels like he needs to change the scenery there or something like that. But I mean, other than that, you don't leave. If it's good, they treating you good, you getting paid well, you winning. Ain't no reason to leave.
Right. You see how quick, like Easy said, how quick Kellen Moore got that job.
He stole that from Greg Roman because he was supposed to be going there.
So you're champion Greg Roman now, Hendo?
Nah, yeah, but as soon as it happened, as soon as they fired that offensive coordinator, all the reports, Greg Roman's in line to step in for San Diego. Greg Roman. So I'm like, oh, okay, he getting a job. Watch me.
Now, the second part to my beginning question: if he goes laterally and fails, is that his one shot? Is that risk worth it?
I mean, yeah, I would think so, right? Especially if you have 2 Super Bowl rings, presumably he's made a good amount of money, even just at the offensive coordinator level. If you want to be a head coach, you got to take the shot. If you're not getting the opportunities, like everybody else gets them, you got to do something else to try and force that to happen. So, I mean, if head coaching is really what he wants, I would say it's probably worth it.
I agree. Like, listen, what he's been doing, winning, showing high-powered offenses, that hasn't gotten him that head coaching job. So why not take that risk? He's not going to lose anything because their perception of him is their perception. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anything is really going to change that. But if he does go out there and takes a franchise that has a lackluster offense and turns them around, that'll say more than anything else. Because, like, he can fail. Like, he can come to Baltimore and then we not re-sign Lamar and he fails.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're going to be like, well, he didn't have Lamar. Of course he was going to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd take that shot. He has nothing to lose, really.
I mean, look at Byron Leftwich, right? He won Super Bowl 2 years ago. He's in the unemployment line.
Yep.
Nobody even talking about him.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
He was a Super Bowl champion 2 years ago and had the Jaguars head coaching job locked up last year until he said, I don't want to work with Trent Baalke.
Mm-hmm.
And now no one wants to talk about him.
Yep.
So if you're a black coach in the NFL, you have to take the chances wherever they're available. I mean, listen, I don't want to say anything ill about Steve Wilkes, but I doubt he's going to get a defensive coordinator spot. I think he's going to end up as a position coach somewhere else. After missing out on the Carolina head coaching job. So I mean, it's not. You're not promised anything as a coach of color in the NFL.
Jose?
No, I mean, go ahead, Mike.
Nah, I was gonna say. I mean, he got to take the chance if it's there, but I think he has to make, especially if it's lateral, man. It has to make sense. Like, I don't think you just say, all right, I'm gonna take the OC job for the Houston Texans or something. I mean, like it's got to make sense, right? It'd be somebody there's some pieces there that you can work with and you could thrive with, because I mean, to B's point, the fact of the matter is, that chance you have is short, right? I mean, we've seen actually like the team I just named, Houston. I mean, how many coaches they didn't had in the last 3-year period? How much money are they paying people to be at home right now? So, I think he takes the chance, but I mean, just make sure it's the right one for him.
Who are all the teams that are offering him or requesting to interview him for the OC positions? Do you know anybody?
Titans and Ravens are the only ones that I've heard.
They have requested.
So, yeah, I think those are the two places though. Look, I mean, I'm gonna be a little biased, but I mean, it makes sense. If he's going to make a move, it should be for the Ravens if they keep Lamar Jackson, because you need a star quarterback, right? Like you need a good quarterback. You don't want to go in there with just whoever and it doesn't work out, because no matter how good you run your plays, if a quarterback can't play, he can't play. He doesn't get the credit in Kansas City, even though every other coach gets credit for just holding the clipboard over there under Andy Reid, but he doesn't get any credit, and it's sad because they say he doesn't call plays, he doesn't do this and that, which he does. But if he comes to Baltimore, improves the offense, which out the gate he steps on the practice field, he improved the offense, but he he gets all the credit because everybody knows Harbaugh doesn't call plays like that, right? Like everybody knows that. So you would have to give him that credit. If Lamar gets plays marginally better, we look marginally better on offense, that's going to make him shine more than what he's doing in Kansas City. Unfortunately, even though what more can you do in 5 straight AFC championships?
Three Super Bowls.
3 Super Bowls. What more can you do than that? But come to Baltimore. Hey, listen, come to Baltimore and get this offense rolling. You'll get the credit.
Facts.
Yeah.
Also,
you might
Coach,
even have this job.
True. Also, Coach, I think that just for me personally, as an outsider looking in, for someone that has a bad reputation or supposed bad reputation around the league, I think it would be good to get to other teams and foster new relationships. Start showing other teams or other people being around different circles, showing them that what they're saying about me isn't true. Right. Show them that I'm a brilliant mind, I'm an outstanding man, I have integrity. And now when they start talking about you, it's like, yeah, I heard IvanEvans, this, and the third. Oh no, he's been with our team for a year and all that stuff isn't true. So, I just feel like there comes a time when you just need to start running in different circles, because being where you are right now, your name is mud. So you just try to get yourself in different situations, different circles.
It's a great point.
And what better way, right? Like to your point, Zay, this is a situation where he comes here. He doesn't have the head coach that's an offensive guy or making that's calling plays. Like it will be solely him and whoever he brings with him. Same with the Titans.
Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. He's a defensive guy, so it'll be your ship, and maybe that's what he's craving, for it to be my ship. I don't have an offensive guy as the head coach. It's what I'm going to be doing. So maybe those 2 places. I mean, mainly, like you said, it would have to be Baltimore if it came down to those 2 places. But as we mentioned, he's up for his second interview for the Colts. So let's see how that plays out, because it looks like D'Amico is going to take the Texans job. So That coach jobs.
I don't want that for D'Amico Ryans, by the way.
Yeah, but he gets the opportunity. But
It's a trap.
one new factor: who's going to be the Dallas Cowboys coordinator?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. He already said it.
Oh, did he really?
He
He
said he
called
called
plays. So
He's going to get fired.
So basically,
He's
you're going to hire an OC, but not be the OC.
He's going to get fired this year.
Yeah, I don't think Houston's a bad spot for D'Amico. I mean, they're going to get a new quarterback. He gets to rebuild. I mean, assuming they give him more than 1 year, he gets to rebuild that franchise from the ground up, which is, I think what a lot of coaches kind of want.
He got a few pieces. He got a few pieces defensively.
I don't think they give him more than 1 year. I think if they get their quarterback, he'll go in there for a year. They'll fire him. And they'll bring in
I don't
Josh
think they would,
McDaniels. Not McDaniels. McCown. Josh McCown.
Josh McCown, no.
They'll bring in Josh McCown.
D'Amico's he's one of the top candidates. If they do him like that, they won't get any other coach.
They won't.
They've been trying to hire Josh McCown for like 5 years.
They have.
that guy's gone though.
Oh, okay.
The guy who wanted Josh McCown, they fired him.
Good.
Needed it.
But I do think defensively, Houston's going to be the truth. With D'Amico as a coach, I think they're going to turn that around. It's just they got to pick the right quarterback in the draft though.
I say they got pieces because of Stingley. I think you need a guy on each level. They have I like the linebacker from Alabama last year. Real fast kid, Christian Harris, maybe. I think he could be a piece in the middle for him because he could, if he, with the proper coaching, he could play all three downs because he's like a 4 or 5 guy playing Mike. And then they got one young D lineman that they probably could build around. If he tried to rebuild what he had in San Francisco, I can see them getting to the middle of the pack defensively, even without those guys they got in San Francisco. Just scheme alone, because you're gonna have what I think is a star on each level. And I forget about Jalen Petrie on the back end too.
True.
So he got pieces to work with. Mm-hmm. Depending on what they get in free agency and his coaching, so that may be
running back is a beast.
Oh yeah.
Damian Pierce.
Like middle of the pack defense is all you need, so long as they are disciplined and you have, like you said, a player on each level where you can make timely stops, you can make plays when you need them. You don't need to be any better than the middle of the pack. I mean, San Francisco was on top of the pack, and that didn't really work out for them.
But correct me if I'm wrong, B, wasn't Philly like up in the top 5 or 6 too?
I think
I believe they are overall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm not saying that having a great defense hurts, but I'm saying you don't need to be up there.
Kansas City is not up there.
They're up there in timely plays though.
Yes.
Timely plays, which is kind of go back to that original argument we had beginning of the year about Pat Queen. Like the game I talked about, he played like a B. But then in the crucial moments, he didn't do nothing. That's the opposite of what Kansas City have on defense. They play average all game, and then a crucial 3rd and long or 4th and short, they show up. And
that's because they have playmakers.
Exactly. And Hendo talked about it earlier. What was that? Who we were talking about? Frank Clark.
Frank Clark,
playmaker. I knew Chris Jones was gonna make plays. I knew Willie Gay was gonna make plays. Simply because of their background and they get it from the mud.
I want to add too, since you brought up Frank Clark, right? Another thing that Kansas City does well is not worry about a player's off-field stuff. They don't care about the optics, right? Because they brought in Tyreek Hill. He had a few incidents, right? That's why he got extension. Right, and they gave him an extension. Frank Clark had another. He had an equally bad incident. If you don't know what we're talking about, look that up. They're like, but he can play.
He can help us win.
They're like, but he can tackle. They don't care about all that. Okay, they let the legal system take care of that. Man, just stay out of trouble long enough for us to win. All right, we'll deal with the other stuff some other time.
Go to jail in the offseason.
Listen, man. Look, I mean, it's life, right? Even where you work at, you're not going to have perfect people. There'll be some people that just slime balls, man. But you still got a job to do. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about somebody else's personal life. If they're doing something that you don't agree with, something illegal, let the justice system take care of that. That's not for these NFL teams to or at least the league, in my opinion, for them to meddle in.
Right. But they do.
They do.
That complex.
Yeah.
Last thing on the docket. Super Bowl. 2 weeks from now, we got Eagles and Chiefs. Who you got, Jose?
Well, Mikey's wife is watching, so I gotta be careful with him. She's a Philly fan. Our boy Donnie's a Philly fan.
Yeah, plead the fifth.
I'm back and forth with it, man, because I love the physicality of Philly.
I don't know is an answer. That's an acceptable answer today.
Like just based my just off of yesterday's games, I'm gonna say Philly, because Philly just looked like they want to just physically impose their will on you. You know what I'm saying? And they can. I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it with Chris Jones, though. That's the only thing. And but Pat Mahomes gets 2 weeks to rest. That's tough, man. I'm gonna go with Philly today. I'm gonna go with Philly today. It might change, but I'm going with Philly today. They're healthy, they're clicking. They have weapons as well. They look great on both sides of the ball. I'm gonna say Philly.
B.
I'm sticking with my pick all year. That's Kansas City. I think that Mahomes will get back healthy. I think those receivers will be healthy, and they will win a shootout.
Mike?
You heard what the man said. The happy wife is happy life. Yeah, is what they say. No, honestly, I think this is Philly's year. I think Philly is just the most complete team that we have in the league right now. And they seem to be that all season. I think that I honestly think Hurts should be the MVP. So I mean, I can't name. Yeah, I mean, like I try to think of like other people, but I mean, Mahomes is always there. But I just think for nobody expected this from Philly or Jalen Hurts this year. So even though they got people hating on him now, saying, I think it was Chris Sims said Gardner Minshew could be playing and they would be doing the same thing, which I don't agree. I don't agree with that.
And he did. He lost.
And they proved that
terrible.
But but I think Philly edges them. Now it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think I'm just still 2 more weeks to get better for Patty is good, but that ankle still scares me. And this is a different defense, as we pointed out, how they get after the quarterback. We've seen how they took they cleared out their quarterback room. All right, so I Patty, but I don't want to bet against Patty. But if I had to do it, I'm gonna go with Philly in this one.
Hendo?
Yeah, to Mikey's point, Philadelphia is the most complete team in the NFL. For a lot of people, they believe that the best path to winning for teams is having strong lines. They have a strong offensive line. They have a strong defensive line. That backfield, especially with Slay out there, like they can kill it.
Mm-hmm.
But against San Francisco yesterday, they really didn't look that dominant. I know the score was 31-7, but they didn't play dominant football, especially for a team that you knew couldn't pass. They knew they had to run. They knocked out both your quarterbacks. They were about to insert Christian McCaffrey. They didn't look as dominant as I thought they should. Jalen Hurts had 121 yards passing. Now, granted, he passed when he needed to, but I just think that Kansas City has a little too much firepower for them. Patrick Mahomes, being injured or not, I think he does his best work when he's under duress, because if you look back at the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, he was on point with those throws. I mean, I don't care if he was falling down. Balls hit Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in the face mask. Like that dude was deadly accurate. If they'd have caught those balls, it'd have been a different story. I just think he proved to me and a lot of people yesterday that if he stands in the pocket, he can just throw darts with the best of them. But the most surprising thing, and I think that's the thing that's going to actually win for Kansas City, is their defense is going to show up. Now, they've not really been known for defense except for some players and some splash plays here and there. But I think Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Nick Bolton, I think those dudes are actually going to show up and show out. If Philly can't run the ball, it might be a long day for them. But I think it might be. I think it'll be a 3-point game. Kansas City nips them in the end.
Oh, they can run the ball.
No.
I don't think
Philly can't run the ball.
I don't think that'll be a problem. I don't think that'll be a problem.
But if you get down early,
Yeah,
they have to pass it.
Yeah,
to stay with them.
They can do that too.
Let me ask you this: what's the word on the injuries for the wide receivers for Kansas City? Because he can't. I don't know if he can do that for a full game with Moore and those guys being his wide receivers for the whole game.
I think so. I think he can.
Travis Kelce looks healthy.
Yeah.
MVS, he was fine.
Yeah, but he need. I think he gonna need a little bit more than those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's gonna need a player too from
Watson.
They don't use Watson. They kind of use that man like a wing running back.
But they use him when they need him.
Yeah.
And he does fine. Like they have guys that can come off the bench and catch those passes. So, and I think for me personally, if they didn't have those players available and they go in and they win the game, I think that just solidifies Mahomes even more as one of the top QBs and not that playground QB that they try to make him out to be.
And they could transition him into the deep ball guy because they need a deep ball guy in the offense to make it be really explosive. They need a guy that
Sky Moore.
That's what I was thinking about. Sky Moore. They need to convert him to let him play outside more, or even from the slot, just blow the top off, and then you have all that room to work.
Oh, I forgot, Coach Pacheco. We sleeping on Pacheco.
I like McKinnon. Pacheco's tough though. He's tough.
Yeah,
man.
McKinnon got that in him though. Pacheco just want to run over you. Who you remind me of? What was the running back, little thin guy that used to play with Denver, light skinned dude?
The kid from Denver. Yeah, Philip Lindsay.
Philip Lindsay. That's Pacheco reminds me of a tougher, a little bit bigger Philip Lindsay. But both of them run hard. And me, I'm in the I don't know boat because it's really tough not to go all in with Philly because of the defense, the offense. They're the most complete team, but Pat Mahomes is different. It's like, remember when we talked about Kelce, just extending that line between him and the next guy? That's what Pat Mahomes doing to the rest of the NFL. You could have had like a big three of quarterbacks, but he's starting to distance himself from even the greats, Aaron Rodgers and whatnot, because of what he did because I know he was still hurt. He even in the press conference, like early in that week when he came out and they said there's no limp or whatnot, that ankle didn't move. That thing probably had a baby cast on it. And then, once it came in at the halftime and it got stiff on him, it got a little worse. He started having balls to go straight in the dirt because he couldn't push off that ankle. But all that to say, what he did off 1.5 leg is awesome. Went over 300 yards. Faced a decent defense, especially the edge guys, and put his team in a position because they didn't run it well. They ran it when they need to. But basically, him throwing for over 300 yards is what got them, to the Super Bowl on a bum ankle. He couldn't just go out there and hand it off like the next person. So he had to actually use that ankle and maneuver. And one of the biggest plays was him running when we know he barely could walk. So it's tough to bet against that dude, especially with his background. But team over eye in some cases, and Philly got a complete team. They loaded at every level. And I agree with, I think Hendo said that earlier about him being an MVP. I can't think of nobody else jumps out to me to, maybe Justin Jefferson, maybe, but
they're not going to give it to a wide receiver.
Please, Justin Jefferson, because I put a futures bet on that. and if he wins, I'm gonna be a happy. Let's just say we going out. We're going to
Sizzler.
His name going to change from OTR Mike to Vacation Mike.
We're going to Horn and Horns.
They can do everything.
Mexico Mike is back.
But that's about all I got, fellas. That's about all I got for today. We got
it was a question in the chat that we kind of skipped over on the coaches, and I kind of forgot. Sean Payton. Where is he going?
Oh, but the thing is with Sean, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Studio.
he had anybody that picks him up, they're gonna lose something. Some
Yeah,
picks or something.
they gotta
2 first rounds.
Oh no, he ain't worth that.
Now they saying Denver, but then they're saying Denver really wants him, but he's afraid of how he'd work out with the front office or something. It's something there that he's not feeling. They said that he would love to work with Russell Wilson, but it's something that he's a little leery of in that front office.
Well, the Broncos just did a second interview with Jim Harbaugh, even though he said he was going back to Michigan.
Yeah, sure.
Because he don't want to go back to Michigan.
Facts.
He said, I want to go back, but are y'all still in the investigation? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
Right.
you're coming to Ann Arbor. I can't stop you if you're here. I mean, I can talk to you. You know,
Like, I am enthusiastic about being on the sidelines in Michigan next year, unless you had maybe somewhere else for me to be. But no, I think Sean Payton, just the job he wanted didn't open up, and that's all.
Yeah, he went to San Diego. I mean, Los Angeles Clippers. Chargers.
he might want the Clippers job too.
Same franchise. Same stuff.
I mean, what about Arizona?
Nobody wants to go to Arizona. Who want to go there?
Coach Baby Stewie. Right.
I mean,
And you got to
my
spend the
man
first
Kyler.
year coaching Colt McCoy.
he took
Instead.
a
Baby Stewie.
yeah. Well, yeah. Look, we gotta look now. I'm saying if I take that job, I need to check the medicals and make sure they're trending in the right direction. But you put Kyler in that offense.
But it's going to be Trace McSorley first, though.
If you can get Kyle off Modern Warfare,
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll put a halt to all of that. He'll cut his internet
sure?
Kyler gonna have
he'll
like
cut his
50
internet
million
connection.
followers on Twitch before he come back from that ACL. He gonna retire.
him and Hollywood got their Twitch numbers up.
But so I mean, let's just assuming let's say that D'Amico has Houston locked in. So that's what? How many jobs left? 3. Denver,
Colts, Denver,
and Arizona, right?
and Arizona. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't. Out of those 3, I would say probably Denver would be the one that he would be intrigued by the most. But you're right. Maybe he sits this out. Maybe he waits it out another year.
Yeah, I can see that.
And let's see. You said Arizona, the Colts, and Denver. Those are 3 jobs open.
All right.
We're looking at and Texans. Kind of penciling D'Amico in for that Texan spot. Do you see any other black coaches falling in those other ones?
who's even getting interviewed?
No.
I thought Jim Caldwell was, and they mentioned Marvin Lewis ish.
He always gets mentioned every year.
Ish.
I think the dark horse. Hold up, that dude Brian Johnson is black, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think he may slide in somewhere
As a
Offensive
head coach.
coordinator in Carolina.
Yeah, I think he might get a head coaching look, but it's slim. Like he would be the only one. Huh?
He's fairly young.
Yeah, like I think they're buying into that trend. I mean, Sirianni or whatever his name was how old is he?
He looks like his mid-30s.
He ain't 40 yet. I don't think he's 40
Yeah,
yet.
I don't think so.
McVay is what, 36 maybe?
Yeah.
6 or 37.
So that's the new trend. I mean, I don't know. His name is being mentioned more and more, especially with this run they on. So he might creep up there, but other than that, and I think that's slim. Other than that, I don't think we see another black coach get hired this year.
It's Carolina hired a 65-year-old because when they zig, we zag.
That is a horrible thing to say.
Hey, B, that comment for you right there.
What's up, Mr. J?
That's right, Jay. I hope so.
Ravens, no. What about this? Ravens need Byron Leftwich.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Didn't they request? He was on that request, right?
They said they were interested.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they requested an interview. I would love
You
to get
don't
Byron
even
Leftwich.
hear
Jose,
I
is
mean,
that
you
the
don't
same
have to
interested, like
request.
they were interested in those receivers?
They're interested. Yeah.
I don't think you have to request interviews with unemployed.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an interview that could be under wraps that we might not hear about happening.
Yeah,
because
it's
not
real. It's not real. Listen, it's all a smokescreen to get Lamar to potentially come back to it. Like Harbaugh already said, listen, y'all gonna run my philosophy regardless who we bring in here. So nothing's really gonna change.
But Hendo, what is his philosophy?
Exactly.
Exactly. Onside kick. What?
Everybody do your thing and be lost. No situational awareness. Just come in and just look like you know what you're doing, and we'll be fine.
I'm gonna blow these timeouts.
Right.
and this weekend was a perfect example of how to use your timeouts. Perfect. But still, it is what it is. We know we got him for at least another year, and probably depending on who they hire for OC, might have him for another 4 to 5
Y'all talking about Todd Monken too. Oh boy,
I did forget about Monken. I did.
Yeah.
Y'all excited to get that OC who got ran out the NFL in his last go?
I did.
Was he a head coach before?
I did. He was the
OC in Tampa.
Before. He was what?
He was the offensive coordinator in Tampa. I don't know if he was ever like their interim coach or anything like that, but he wasn't.
I don't think
hasn't been hired to be head coach.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I was gonna say he run a lot of tight
ends.
You'd be getting kind of the same guy.
Pat Ricard in the slot all over again.
And this is a time for renewal, right? You don't want somebody who does the same thing that you used to do. What you used to do got the old guy fired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm waiting on?
John Harbaugh get fired?
No, but you know what I'm waiting to hear. And it's gonna crush. It's gonna crush all of us because you know what it means. What I'm waiting on is we hear that they hired someone in-house.
No, you know this happening.
And we know that means Lamar's gone. Because I don't think it's anybody.
You're a horrible person, B.
I don't think Lamar with anybody in here.
I'm a horrible person for wanting better for Lamar. Y'all don't want better for Lamar.
We do want better for Lamar. We do want better for Lamar.
You can support a team that ain't giving them better.
You're right.
That would crush me, Mike. Really.
Yeah.
So, Coach.
Yeah.
So if we lose Lamar and Patrick Queen next year, what are you going to
do? This channel is going to become more Sip to Tally.
more and more Sip to Tally.
More.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do because Channel 3 will still be on the team and he'll be balling by then. So I'm going to watch him. Why your facial expression?
Because Coach, I just love your positivity and your hope. I think I could have swore on the last stream we did, they told you that Prochet doesn't have 800 yards for his career.
You not tell me that.
This man has 62 yards this year in a 17.
He don't have 300, I don't think.
He don't have 300 in a 17-game schedule. With no wide receivers, this man couldn't put up 100 yards.
We need a I keep forgetting.
And you think he gonna ball out next year, Coach? Okay.
With Tyler Huntley,
just joking. That's all.
I know you are. I know. I just like picking with you. I
would love to see him have like a 100-yard game just so I can say, now what? One good time.
Hey, because I don't know if you see it. Michael G. Hit up the super chat. Shout out to Michael G. I want to make sure. I'm not sure. I know the super chats disappear. So
no, it's still here. It's still here.
Okay.
Still here. So he was talking about the Eagles, so I was going to try to tie it in on the back end.
Gotcha.
Definitely appreciate you, Marco G. And I'll read it out. Eagles love to run the ball also, but the difference is they move more creative and space the defense to open up lanes for their running back and quarterback. They work harder. They work smarter, not harder. And football is that simple. I don't know why a certain individual with the last name Roman made it hard. Yeah. And to take away some of it from Roman, he didn't have a lot of weapons to work with either. No. Yeah. It's different. You can run the exact same offense out there, but you run Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown out there with that offense, it looked totally different.
And that's what I was saying. Like the Eagles looked at Baltimore in 2019 and they said, let's try that with talent. And now they're in the Super Bowl. But the question I have for all y'all is, who is your preferred starting quarterback for next season once Lamar is gone? Like, do you want a Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo?
We're not claiming that.
Or do you want to use that pick that you get to draft one of these guys at the top this year.
It's not. We're not claiming that.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Stop putting that to
I mean,
existence.
just
Lamar,
disrespect.
as you look, you see, we have serious
am I less than 1/6 of this roundtable? Y'all
Look
can't answer
at-
my question.
Look
I answer
at
all yours.
Andrew. Look what Andrew said. Y'all playing. And you got some people taking this serious here. Okay.
We not playing. We being serious.
Now you're going too far when you talk about Lamar not being here. That's going a little bit too far.
Is he really? Because it's a reality. It's a possibility.
You acting like I made that up. you acting like he is not a free agent right now.
We're holding out hope.
Listen, we can joke about it. We're not the ones not giving the man his money, right?
Exactly.
Like we're not the ones you want to channel your anger and frustration at. Okay, we're just making light of the situation.
If they go to shit, it'll be there. It would be self-inflicted.
Right.
Yes.
That's the point we're making.
Mm-hmm.
You got the opportunity to sign the man, sign him. What are we waiting on? Now it's rumors that they're waiting to see what Burrows and Hurt, see if they get picked up.
You know why they're not laughing now? You know why they're not laughing now? Because they watch the playoffs and they see the quarterbacks in this conference, and it's not funny when you see who's at the top, right? Because we can count ourselves amongst them with Lamar Jackson. Without Lamar Jackson, we have no shot.
Yep.
Right.
I don't know why Ashanti always try to take shots like I give a damn what Hassan Reddick looks like in the postseason. What are you even trying to do here, Ashanti?
What did Matt Jr. look like during the season? What does Azarius Smith look like during the season? Like everybody loses players.
Yeah, cool. Congrats, Ashanti. Good job.
Some grow, some get better, some get worse. Some fall off the cliff. Like you said with IvanEvans, some people just need to change the scenery, and they blossom. It is what it is. Lastly, I know I said lastly a few minutes ago, but it's the lastly. Frank Wright obviously got the job. IvanEvans may or may not leave. Who do you guys think is like realistically the front runner for that job? Jose?
For the Ravens OC
the
job?
Ravens OC job, yeah.
Who knows, right? They're still conducting a lot of interviews. History tells us it's going to be in-house. All right. But if they put on this whole show just to hire somebody in-house, I would be infuriated, right? Because I mean, we know they're liars. They lie to the fans all the time. They lie to reporters all the time. Why go through this whole show just to do what you normally do, right? So, assuming for a second that that's not what they're going to do, man, I don't know. Like, I want to be Bieniemy or Leftwich, but I see Zach Robinson, floated out there. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's Zach Robinson either. I feel like it's going to be somebody that we haven't really put on our radar. Who that is, I couldn't say.
Endo?
It's going to be James Urban or Craig Versteege. It's going to be one of those two guys. I'm telling you, they're next in line for the offensive coordinator position. This is all a smokescreen to keep Lamar engaged in continuing talks with this team. Because if they do an in-house hire right now, Lamar's like, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back to the same old nonsense. But just, casting that wide net, showing them, listen, we're leaving no stone unturned, and we're talking to the biggest names. We've seen this before in free agency where, quote unquote, the Ravens were courting a big name free agent that never made it to the team. It's the same thing with the coaching search. John Harbaugh is still the head coach of the team. And I've said it once, I've said 1,000 times. That man loves beta personalities. He doesn't want anybody challenging his authority. So he's going to go out here and hire as many guys, as many yes men as he can find. And I don't think a lot of these new offensive coordinators are yes men. So he's going to stick with somebody he knows. Like, he knows that these dudes will fall in line. So it'll be in-house.
I like that, Jeff.
That's pretty good, Mike.
I think, man. I think Zach Robinson is probably the front runner, right? But it's something that scares me about that hire. He's with the Rams currently, right?
Mm-hmm.
and they just had an OC job open, right?
Hmm.
They
I thought
just
they got rid of the defensive staff. I thought.
no, their OC left to go to college. They went to Kentucky.
Oh, okay. As
So
the head coach.
I think same position. I don't know, but I think he went back to
That's one of those
Kentucky.
fires, or that's
It says he left. He was there. He was at Kentucky before
Mhm.
initially, but either way, he went back, right? And they hired Mike LaFleur, the Jets OC that just got fired. And you got this hot candidate already in your building. So
Right.
that worries me about the Zach Robinson train.
Didn't the Chargers pass him up too?
Chargers passed him up too.
For
Kellen
sure.
Moore,
Yeah.
Kellen Moore's the ink on his release hadn't even dried yet, and he got a job.
Right.
So Robinson would not be my first choice, but I just feel like for some reason, since we're hearing his name the most around here, that he's probably the front runner, unfortunately. But I'm a little worried. So watch, y'all think about that. There was an OC spot open at the current with his current employer, and they passed him up for a guy that got fired with the Jets. So I'm a little worried there.
Next.
That you're talking about Liam Cohen. He was the offensive
Yeah.
coordinator. He went back to be the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Kentucky, and he was that in 2021 for them as well.
Yeah.
I want to point out B has the fastest Google.
Game on point.
So for me, I think that I was kind of on the same train as Mike, thinking Zach Robinson might be the guy, but I'm thinking that the hire, it would have already been done if it was just up to John Harbaugh, right? Like Hendo said, it would have just been some dude. He would just point to somebody in the room, been like, "All right, James, it's you, whatever." But this hire is to keep Lamar, right? They have to impress Lamar, because they want to entice him to stay. So I'm going with Brian Johnson out of Philly.
Okay.
That would be ideal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That would be ideal.
Yeah.
I'd wear a Harbaugh t-shirt if he
Ooh, you cleaned that one up good.
with his face on it if he made that hire.
Jose, I get you?
Yeah. I was not committal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's going to be, I think Brian Johnson or Slowick from San Francisco.
Mm.
But and the reason I asked to throw names out there because all those names that we threw out are logical names with either potential or a proven background. But they'll zig and hire somebody that we don't know from the Jeff Saturday tree, and then we'll be stuck.
or they'll hire this cat from Denver who was the OC for 2 games.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be something like that. That's what I'm preparing myself for. Something like that.
Something stupid.
But the names that y'all put out there, that would be ideal. Now look, that's 5 names. That's about 4 or 5 names that you could make your fan base happy with choosing one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Leftwich, Bieniemy, Johnson, Slowick, and
I think even the fan base will be happy with Zach Robinson because
I think so. I mean, like I said, that kind of threw me off when I was like, wait, they had an OC spot open and they didn't take him. So, but I mean, yeah, at this point, I think we'll take anybody out of this building, right? I think that's just a new identity is what we're really looking for.
You know what, Brandon? I forgot. I was supposed to clip this part of our LBHT show last Wednesday. B went through this whole rapid fire list of free agents who we could just move on from. The list is long, Brandon.
So I missed out on that one then because I was in and out Wednesday.
I gotta.
I was gonna say with Chuck.
If I find out, I'll make a short of it. It was funny.
Marcus Peters.
Who's the number one? Who?
Marcus Peters, Calais Campbell, Michael Pierce. All of them.
I think Pierce is. I think Pierce is.
Pierce will stay.
I think Pierce is. I think
Morgan
he
Moses.
might be a guy. Or we work that deal.
Yeah.
This is PK's what, third year or
fourth.
So they got to make a decision first, right? On the 5th year.
Well, they got into.
I think they're gonna pick that 5th year. I think he earned it. Why not? He earned it.
Even
if he earned it, we talking about the Ravens,
right?
Yeah, I mean, but they
what?
This is EDC's. This is one of his guys. I think he'll look out for his guy.
He's gonna pick it up if only for the ability to trade him.
Yeah, that's the only way.
I mean,
but not even necessarily because they didn't pick up Hollywood's 5th-year option and they traded him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I thought they did pick up his.
They did not. Arizona picked it up after they got him.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like they declined it.
I mean, that's true too.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. But I could see Pierce being the casualty. Maybe Morgan Moses.
Maybe.
DeMarcus Robinson.
I don't know how much money you'll save.
Sammy Watkins.
Listen. Boyle. Nick Boyle's gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
He better be.
Well, I thought they already cut Boyle. They waived it.
Yeah, I think they did.
Oh, yeah, they did waive him, did they?
Yeah, they waived him.
Did they bring him back? They brought somebody back.
I don't think it was him. They had 30 other tight ends.
They always bring him back.
First of all, Coach, don't be like that. Like this team unemployed 30 tight ends.
I don't know how much money would actually save him because I mean he's not making a ton, but I would move Gus Edwards out too. You don't need,
$5 million.
You don't need to. Jesus, you definitely don't. You don't need to pay your backup running back like that.
Yeah.
So Jeremiah says Pierce saves you $2 million. I don't know if he's saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the recent reports have been that the Ravens are $28 million under the cap from signing
instead of 47.
Instead of 40 something. Now, if you get Lamar on the franchise tag, what's that, 45 to 50 mil?
And we out. That's it.
Right. So you don't even have enough money to
broke
franchise.
Is a joke. You franchise and we broke his head.
And I think B listed at least 22 potential free agents from the team.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they going to do? Like that's one of the indicators that Lamar's gone because we can't afford to field a team right now as is and then franchise Lamar because they're not going to give him what he wants in a contract.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can backload it and make it low for this year. We are how the hell are we 28 mil under the cap?
That's one of the highest in the league, though.
Yeah, right.
Because you got like 25 free agents to bring back.
But look, I'll say this: everything that you're saying, though, all that can go away if they sign Lamar. This is all self-inflicted, like we've been saying. Like all these issues, you get Lamar on the contract, you can work the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself as much cap as you need to sign whoever you need. You can go and get a good offensive coordinator. It wouldn't take much to have us in Super Bowl contention for next season.
Mm-hmm.
All the posturing that they're doing right now is hurting the team, and that's all on them. And that's ego on their part. That's not we have to do what's best for the franchise. We're making a smart business move. They're not thinking about any of that stuff. That is Steve Bisciotti and his ego getting in the way because he don't want this quarterback to win the negotiations.
Yep.
But good news for y'all is that franchise tag number is lower than what people have been saying all year. So that's nice.
What is it? Rome said 32 million.
Yeah.
We was thinking 40 something.
Mm-hmm.
It's 32?
Yeah.
Right now?
I think we was thinking 46, 47.
That's what we were thinking.
Yeah. That's what people had been kind of projecting, but it came in this season or just earlier today at 32 million, a little over 32.
Oh, that's a lot less.
That's a lot of leverage for the unfortunate group.
Until some other people get signed, they hurry up.
But the thing is, even at 32 million, Lamar still has all the leverage because he doesn't have to sign that tender right away. He can be like, man, I'm just go ahead and just chill.
They got two different ones that I found out.
Yes, exclusive, non-exclusive.
Mm-hmm. So, but exclusive, does he have the option to not sign that one too?
Any tender, he's a free agent. So any tender that's placed on him, he just had to sign it until I think like week 6 of the season.
Mhm.
So that could mess up the whole offseason.
Right.
If he's just like,
Wait.
I'm not going to sign it.
How does Duvernay, if this is correct, according to
$2 million
cap over the cap, cutting Duvernay will save them $4 million.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Why not?
Gus Edwards would save you 4.3.
Man, you gotta do that.
Pat Ricard 1.7.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why are you saying
No,
that's it? He's
what Calm was the one
fullback.
making the money.
But he made $7 million last year.
I mean,
Boyer was the one making the money.
2.5.
He was $7 million too.
2.5 if you cut Morgan Moses. Macari, $2 million. Bye. Chuck Clark,
wow.
3.4 million if you cut Chuck Clark.
Think it over
That
some
still
money.
ain't a lot.
Zeitler, $6.5 million if he's released pre-June 1.
Nah, we gotta keep Zeitler.
Mhm.
Justin Tucker, you can save $8 million.
We
You can
good.
save $8 million.
That's our second best player.
You stop it right there. No, he's our best player.
You can save $8 million. You cut Justin
Yes.
Tucker, guys.
Who's the best player, coach?
This Lamar Jackson is not currently a Raven.
He's not on our team.
Sure.
27.
Oh, okay. No,
Six.
I'll take Tucker.
6.
Come on, stop playing.
So 6
Yeah,
ain't our
I
best.
mean-
18 then. 18 or 6.
What about
No,
nine.
probably 44 this year.
what's
9,
Peter's cap?
Peters.
15 mil, 10 mil.
Well, Peters not because Peters is a free
Is he a free
agent,
agent?
right?
Is he
Yeah,
free?
so he's
Is
not
he?
on there.
Okay.
Oh, he done then.
Tyus Bowser, $2.5 million. You cut him.
You keep Tyus Bowser.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let them young guys play.
Let him hunt, huh?
Nah,
I
let
think
Bowser-
they're gonna be
Who
straight
wants
next
who wants to cut Odafe? It's
Ooh.
$3 million.
I know
There you
you
go.
put your hand up.
I mean, listen.
You're gonna lose your co-host.
Listen, no, listen. Jose and Brodney have said it time and time again. Why do we have guys that we need to replace or give help in the very next draft? Like he's not doing his job. Cut him.
Sadly, that's the business of it. That's the business of it.
So we ain't got enough money to fill the whole goddamn team.
That's what I'm saying. The receiver here probably gonna have to come from rookies.
No, that's not gonna cut. That's not gonna cut it, coach.
Malik
I
Harrison,
think
$1
that.
million. $1 million one.
Listen, if we want to make it happen, we have more than enough space. Like these deals, the way they move around money in these deals, man, it's they can make it happen. It's just, do they want to? Because there'll be teams with half the cap space that will get more done.
Yep.
Who the hell is John Simpson? And why, if we cut him, will we save $1 million? He should be cut.
Did you say John Simpson?
John Simpson.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know. John Simpson.
They got to be an alias for Harbaugh.
It's got to be somebody else. It's got to be Richard Harbaugh or somebody.
It got to be.
I've never heard. Anybody in the chat heard of John Simpson? Because
I've
he's
never
on
heard of
here.
I heard John Simon. Right?
Simon. Yeah, they traded
Nah.
him. I mean, they released him long ago.
John Simpson, who made $1 million. His cap number this year was $1 million.
Oh, they're saying he's a
Somebody say a
guard.
guard.
But look, it's not as hard as it seems for Baltimore, right? Because you look at that whole free agent list and you're like, man, there's a lot of decent players on this list. And yeah, they're decent players, right? They're all depth players, right?
Mhm.
And whenever they get to play, y'all are like, man, that dude sucks. So what you do is you don't bring any of them back. You replace them with minimum level veterans, with rookies, and you pile the money into a couple of impact players on offense. You're going to get the same exact production out of that depth that you're getting out of your depth right now, which you hate, except you're going to have Mike Evans or DeAndre Hopkins or whoever it is making plays on the other side. The Chiefs secondary they were talking about, like, it's all young players back there. They spend their money making Pat Mahomes better. and then they say, you know what, the coaches and the young players on the defense, they just gonna have to step up and do it.
Who gonna trade a second round pick for Gus Edwards or Chuck Clark? We couldn't get.
I would trade Michael Pittman.
We couldn't get what's his face, the bum wide receiver.
Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, we couldn't get Jalen Reagor for Chuck Clark and a 6.
Why would the Colts trade you their number 1 receiver?
True.
For a backup running back and a third string safety.
But I would take him. I would take him.
Oh no, he's not saying for those guys. Okay.
No. He's saying get Michael Pittman, then trade off these guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be an old dusty receiver and a rookie. That's all we gonna get.
So I've asked this question before on our show, like take the fandomness out of it. If you were a fan of another team, look at the Ravens. Who's the guy outside of Lamar that you're looking at saying, I get the first for that guy. Gotta have that guy on our team. You know,
Makari for a third. Trade Prochet.
Trade what?
And Duvernay.
Like you could trade Duvernay because he's an all pro returner. You could trade him theoretically, right? But how you gonna trade James Prochet?
I gotta take this down, Joe.
How you gonna trade James Prochet?
Come on, man.
Tell me who gonna trade?
Can we answer Jose's question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Jose.
No, it's more for the chat.
For the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Helio Dominguez says Dobbins and Roquan. Okay. Yeah.
I wouldn't give up
Roquan for sure
for Dobbins.
Yeah. Not
let me ask this question then. Siren very late to the game, so you have already discussed this. But how are you guys feeling about Lamar being a Raven? I love him. I also think there are two sides to the whole coin thing, which frustrates me. Miss Roten, if I'm pronouncing that right, appreciate the 20, and we will discuss it again for that. As far as Lamar, he wants certain things, and I think it's just a struggle between Bashadi wanting to lose. I don't think the money's an issue. I think it's just him not wanting to lose a negotiation to an athlete. That's my 2 cents on it. What y'all think about it?
I'm gonna take it a step further. He doesn't want to lose a contract negotiation to a young, black, unrepresented athlete. I think it's more about ego and hubris than it is anything else. Listen, Bashad is a billionaire. If he really wanted to dole out $250 million guaranteed, he would. It would be no problem. Like I said, even if the numbers for the franchise tag comes in, the next 2 years he would get $100 million. And even if he wanted $200 million guaranteed, that would probably be over 6 years versus $100 million for 2 years. So the math ain't mathing. It's more about ego and who's standing tall. And it may not be about the money because personally, we don't know. Lamar has never really come out and said, this is what I want. I need this guaranteed contract. We're all speculating because he hasn't said anything. It could be an issue of, well, I need a certain level of money, but I also need you to get rid of Greg Roman. I need you to bring in some wide receiver help and get me a decent offensive line. And he's waiting around to see what they actually do to show that commitment to him and show that they actually believe in him as a passer, because that's one thing they haven't done since he's been here. You know, they'll get up in the meeting like, oh, yeah, we love Lamar. He's our guy. But when it comes to backing him up, they haven't done it. And I just think for him, it's a little frustrating because he just wants to win. You know, he doesn't want to do all the games, the endorsements, you know, the self-promotion. He just wants to win, and you're not giving him the best opportunity. And I just think for an athlete, sometimes that's the worst thing that you can do. And he's sitting back weighing his options, in my opinion.
Mike?
I to kind of piggyback off of what Hendo's saying, I think owners are afraid to be that next one in line to give out that type of money because they don't want that type of money going out. They are giving the Haslams the side eye. They have been giving it to them all year. And right now you got 2 other owners outside of Bashadi who are shaking in their boots right now because they have that's the Bengals and Mr. Brown, and that's the Chargers and
Spanos.
The Spanos, right.
So
neither those 3, Bashadi, Brown, and Spanos, they will be looking. It's going to be more of a cat and mouse game between those 2 to see who is going to either come close or match that deal that the Browns gave Watson. And so I think the ego lies within that. Nobody wants to be that next owner that that followed that trend. So they're
That
waiting on the
fold.
next one. Yeah, and they're waiting on that next one. Okay, Cincinnati's going to give Burrow X, Y, and Z, and then the other owners can go, all right, I can give. At least I wasn't the next one to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just going to be it's that game. It's going to be that cat and mouse game. I just hope the Ravens don't stub their toe waiting on these other teams to pay their quarterback.
I think they're going to stub their toe because I think the smart one is actually going to be Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia is going to jump in there before everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And because Jalen Hurts wasn't a first round pick, he doesn't get a 5th-year option. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to be smart enough and give him just enough to put him in that upper tier quarterbacks, which is going to make it worse for everybody coming after that. So if the Ravens wait for Hurts to get signed, then probably Burrow will be next because Cincinnati's like, I'm not going to wait for Herbert to get signed and then be third and have to give even more money because whoever's coming in third or fourth, they're going to have to pay out the ass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
And with the Hurts thing, I'd go and jump on him quick before he's considered. Well, I was finna contradict myself. I was finna say considered an upper echelon quarterback, but I just mentioned him as probably being an MVP. So I'm gonna just throw that thought process out.
But we know what you mean.
Lamar is an MVP, and people don't consider him an upper echelon quarterback. And I think to the end of the point, like I don't think that Cincinnati and the Chargers are going to worry about it. Nobody is going to talk about them the way they talked about Cleveland for paying Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
True.
Because there, we brought this up multiple times. There is another team that gave away a fully guaranteed contract to a quarterback. They gave it to Kirk Cousins. Nobody said anything about them.
Right.
It's only certain quarterbacks who can't make that type of money. And that's that's Deshaun Watson, that's Lamar Jackson, and I think Jalen Hurts would get that some of that blowback as well. I think in Baltimore, man, it's just it's so weird to me that you're going back and forth, you're like pinching pennies on your MVP quarterback who is just starting his prime, and you went and overpaid the hell out of your middle linebacker.
Yeah,
you don't want to be known as somebody who raised the bar at quarterback, but you're going over $20 million a year for a middle linebacker.
That's zagging,
and everybody's praising that move.
Right,
that's that zagging. Jose.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, one thing we can give Haslam credit for is he made all these moves and did not care one bit what anybody thought. Right. He said, yeah, this guy, yeah, like Laura said, Mr. Groper, right? We paid him. We paid him the highest paid guarantees of any quarterback. Yeah, he's suspended for 11 games. Yeah, everybody gonna write their think pieces about us. Yeah, you got fans that are gonna boo us. I don't care. Right? At the end of the day, I don't care. My wife doesn't care. We don't care. And you're not going to care once we start winning.
Facts.
Right? You know what I'm saying? You talk about by any means necessary. That's what they did. By any means necessary. And that's the mentality that the Ravens have to do for a guy that makes it easy for you to pay him. Mm-hmm. This should have been done a couple years ago. Hey, Lamar, what number are you looking at? Give us a number and then just write him a check. Simple. Right? These negotiations don't have to be hard. They're trying to make it seem like it's his fault, right? Oh, it takes two to tango. Mm-hmm. Nah, make it one, right? Make it one. Say, listen, what number? Just throw a number out there, whatever it is, throw it out there. You throw that number out there. All right, meet us at the office. Tell your mom to come through. We're gonna get some champagne and we're gonna get this done tonight. This does not have to drag out. There's no reason for this to drag out for as long as it's dragged out. It can happen right now. Steve Bisciotti is a billionaire. Billionaires can do whatever they want, whenever they want.
Thanks.
Right? So they're making it drag out as long as they're making it drag out. This has nothing to do with Lamar's side. Lamar's not talking to us. I bet you if you cut that check for the number he asked for, he'll pick up his phone.
Yep.
Right.
Stop asking him, how his breakfast is, when you see him and all that stuff. And you know what I'm saying? And talk real money and get this done. And then we can get this whole offseason. Then once he gets signed, then we can really start talking about what this team needs to do in the offseason.
Right.
And to that point, listen, you can say what you want about Deshaun Watson and Haslam and what they did with this. But the one thing going into this offseason they don't have to worry about is quarterback. So now they can focus on putting weapons around him and adding pieces to that defense to make this a better team. We don't know what direction they're going right now because we don't know what's happening with our starting quarterback. So now we're running around chasing our tails, and our offseason really can't begin until we know who we have behind center.
Because you think about the high level OCs that are candidates out there, they don't want to come here if 8 ain't here.
Yeah.
And Nick is asking,
If
if
they smart.
Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was like, if they smart, they wouldn't come here without 8.
Right.
But yeah, Nick's asking if we really think Deshaun Watson deserves that contract. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. He was available, and there were multiple teams that wanted him. He was an elite level quarterback, and like Hendo said, they don't have to worry about quarterback. I'm a Panthers fan. This is the, I believe, 4th or 5th straight offseason that they're looking for quarterback. That's not a place you want to be.
I want to say one thing too. The NFL is the highest grossing revenue sport in the country, and these players get paid the least out of other players. Any player that gets any contract, damn right they deserve it. They deserve a whole lot more. So $230 million guaranteed sounds about right to me.
Watson is terrible, even at quarterback. Okay,
you know what?
You might call him terrible, but you can't call him broke.
But you know what? Honestly, just talking to us, if I was hurt, I would. If tag me, I'm forced you to tag me unless you give me that or more. What's the tag number right now? 40, 45?
Well, it depends. It depends on if you're talking exclusive or non-exclusive. It's 2 different prices for each one.
Well, one's 37, I think, or 32, and the other one's 45.
I want the 45, right? And I'm not signing for anything less than that. So I tag me, bruh, because you can't give me a 50 option. So I feel like Philly gotta do. I'm with you, Hendo. Philly will probably move quick.
So is that the new trend in the NFL? Like, get your rookie quarterback got to be good within year 2 or 3, and then put the pieces on it.
I just think it just so happens that, with the explosion of offense and that becoming the predominant factor, not defense in the NFL, these teams, aside from the Ravens, are getting these young quarterbacks and surrounding them with talent. I think that is the best thing that can happen. Because, like, offensive talent. Because if you look back to even to David Carr, like, I think he got a raw deal. He had a horrible offensive line, and he had really not too many weapons around him, and he just got beat to death. Nowadays, they're aligning these quarterbacks with the right offensive coordinators, with the right receivers, and just enough offensive line help to make them successful, because they know once we have this franchise quarterback in place, everything else just aligns automatically.
See Kansas City.
Sure.
Yeah.
The only guy that was not on a rookie deal.
But he signed a team friendly deal because he knows later on he's going to get paid. Yeah. He has assurances from the team. Plus, he also knows this team is going to Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So either I'm going to make my money or I'm going to win. Unlike here in Baltimore, you don't want to pay me, and I don't know where the hell we going.
Right. We're in limbo. It's complicated.
First round playoff exit. That's where we're going.
It's complicated.
Now, I do think that Burrow's contract, I think that might get ugly. Now, I think we might see some buck back from him. I think he might hop on the Lamar train with this wanting his guaranteed money.
I hope so.
I think he's that type of guy, and I think he feels like, hey, I had us in the mix 2 years in a row. What's up? You know what I'm saying? So I think that one won't be as smooth as people may think, because I think he's going to want, but I think the Bengals are ultimately, they're going to pay it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that is why the Ravens should get it done now. Because, like we always say, yesterday's price ain't today's.
Right.
Somebody's gonna get more money, and I just feel like it's going to go up by the day. It's going up by the day, and then it's going to jump tens of millions of dollars by the quarterback getting signed. Each quarterback that gets that deal is jumping. So, it's again, you run that risk of stubbing your toe. I would be at Lamar's front door right now. Like, yo, what you doing, man? What's up? Let's play Xbox. Let's play PlayStation. Let's get this done. I'm not leaving until we get it done. It's no excuse. Get it done move on, and then build your team.
Oh, you in Florida this weekend? Guess what? I'm in Florida too.
Right, me too. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We
I'm
on the same.
outside.
We on the
I'm
same
actually
street.
outside.
We might as well just hang out. We might as well just hang out for the weekend.
They take this coming out. I slapped the taste out of EDC mouth if he lets Trevor Lawrence get money before Lamar. But the thing is, it probably could happen.
It could happen.
It could.
Because we didn't mention his name in any of that conversation, but
We did.
he's eventually at some point, if he keeps progressing the way he is, he's gonna be the highest paid. He's gonna have that title at least for a couple of days, depending on who's in the cycle with him.
Right. It's just a game. It's just a game you don't play. And why we want to play Russian roulette, I don't know. But they wake up. It's just. I mean, it's like it's all in the question you asked earlier, Coach. Like, is this a new trend? Honestly, the Giants are kicking themselves right now because they now have to make a rushed decision versus, all right, man, we give him that 5th-year option. All right, yeah, we're gonna pay him 20-something million. All right, it's kind of the market right now for these quarterbacks. That's on the low end. Like, all right, yeah, we give him no 20 million, but at least you have options with him. Now it's either because Daniel Jones asked for 45 million.
Right.
So it's like, now do I do that or do I not have a quarterback right now? So, it's almost just worth it to go ahead and pick up that option, see what you got, and go, you know what I mean, and go from there. So I do think it's the trend, but I do think it's becoming more and more, on the player side as far as the leverage, and that's just what it's going to be.
I will say this: nothing rushed about that decision in New York. They've known from day one that dude is trash. They need to go ahead and get him up out of there and find their real quarterback now that they have a coach.
But that I think that's easier said than done. Like, who's out there?
For sure, it is. It's very, very difficult to find a quarterback. But you know what? That's why you don't draft Daniel Jones, and you would have had a 4-year head start on it.
And that's why you pay your quarterback. This trend, this trend with stacking up teams with quarterbacks on a rookie deal. Yeah, it's a trend now because there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming into the league. But that's not everlasting, right? The new trend is going to be find your quarterback, pay your quarterback, right? There's a lot of really, this next generation of great quarterbacks is coming to the league, and the teams that got them are lucky to have them, and they're going to pay them to keep them. And you're not going to see a Joe Burrow in every draft. Right. You're not going to see Pat Mahomes in every draft. Right. So if you have them, you keep them, and don't try to roll the dice and think you're going to get one in the following draft. Right. That's where you with teams that your luck runs out and you're stuck in that Danny Dimes situation. Now, listen, I think fans are happy with Daniel Jones' performance this year. He played much better.
Did he?
But how much money do you want to commit to him?
Right.
And then on the other side of it, right there in New York with the Jets, they thought, hey, we can get a young quarterback and stack up around him, and they did. Look where they're at. The only thing that's missing is quarterback. Right, and I bet you they're not going to look to replace him through the draft. They're going to look to spend money to bring somebody in to fix that problem.
Oh yeah, he already said it. The owner already said it. We're going to get somebody one way or another.
Right.
And the people who push that, oh man, you know what? Don't pay your quarterback. Get somebody on a rookie deal and stack up the roster. You'll never hear them say trade Pat Mahomes.
Right.
Never.
But they had Lamar on a rookie deal. And what did they do?
Wasted it.
They did their jobs to the best of their ability. They are incompetent. That's been the thing. I mean, like you go sit there and look all of us in the face like they didn't bring in Sammy Watkins. Like they didn't bring in Des Bryant. These are high first round picks. These guys.
Speaking of Sammy Watkins, I was watching something today, and Sammy Watkins went from being like the 5th best receiver on the team to the number 1 receiver on the team.
And that team had the worst receiving core in the league, allegedly.
At one point, the public said that. At one point, the public did say that. Not us, but the public did say that.
But the reality is he didn't go from 5th to first. Like he's not a wide receiver. He's just a dude who shows up at facilities. Like, you don't think that dude play football. He quit playing football that year. He was playoff Sammy and got himself a ring.
He's like an older brother. He shows up for the free gym trial membership, and then when that expires, he goes to the next one.
He's like he's like Desmond Howard. I love Desmond Howard because he was the Heisman winner. He was a high draft pick. He was a Super Bowl MVP, but he was not a good player, right? But he hit all those notes. That's what Sammy did. He was a great college player. I mean, he didn't win Heisman. He was a great college player, a top 5 overall pick, Super Bowl winner. And, if you just tell that story, he was a great football player. If you dive a little deeper,
30 for 30.
Yeah, you dive a little deeper, you keep that a 30 for 30 short.
Jeremiah said our wide receivers got injured. Oh, you thought that's all that was wrong with this team? That the wide receivers got injured?
Our wide receiver got injured.
Right.
Don't throw Devin in there. Don't do that. and you know what?
Was an athlete.
You know what? Don't throw Rashad in there because he's a 500-yard player right now.
Yeah, he's been hurt every year he's been in the league.
Shout out to DJ Baby Dinosaur. What a name, boy.
Is that Barney? Oh, yeah. Got Barney. So, obviously, we got the Pro Bowl coming up this week, which is a flag football game now. I may or may not, probably not watching it. And we'll have the Super Bowl the week after that. But hopefully this OC search heats up this weekend and give us some news to talk about. But with that being said, I'm gonna let everybody get that outro, let everybody know where they can find you at and what you got coming up, what you got going on. And before we start, we want to make sure we say shout out again to Chris, who was not able to be with us tonight. You can find Chris over on the Deep Cover podcast with Carrie and Mike. They do it weekly to bi-weekly. It kind of depends on what's going on with them. But great guys over there. Make sure you go check them out at the Deep Cover Podcast. Mikey, you up first.
Yeah, I'm the host of Open Mic with OTR Mike. Listen, I think I'm at like 256 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 300, right? So if you don't mind, if you're not already subscribed, go over to Open Mic with OTR Mike and hit that button. I promise you will like it. The last 2 episodes feature the great Coach Evans. We talking about Ed Reed and the backlash that came from that. But Coach has already been on the show 3 times. Hendo has been on it 2 or 3 times. Jose and Brodney, they run it behind the scenes, so they're always on the show. So if you want to see a different side of all of these guys and not just talk sports, you should go over there and subscribe. Because as I like to open my show, it is the show where the mic is open for any discussion, no matter what it is, who it is, or where it is. So go and check it out. I am also 1/3 of Ring Kings podcast with the 2 brothers below me. We're just the best boxing podcast out there. Look, it was a lot of boxing podcasters this weekend arguing, fighting. And Ring Kings was just sitting there eating their popcorn, watching it. Like, right, we don't have this problem. So if you don't want your boxing podcasters fighting, go over to Ring Kings podcast. Also
want to add, we are also trying to hit 300 over there as well. So
yes.
Two milestones, 2 channels, 2 milestones. So go support.
And up.
Yes, you can find me as the host of Ravens Online on Gatekeepers, where you'll probably get a Sunday show every week, bi-weekly. It's off season, we play by ear. You can also find me every Friday at noon with my man, Mr. Galloway, on Electric Relaxation with Mr. Galloway, talking all things hip-hop, old school music, certain things like that. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter at RGatekeepers. Your audio podcast, wherever you find them at, I'm on there. Go give a listen, give 5 stars. Mike is also on there as well. So go to Open Mic with OTL Mike on your favorite audio platform. Make sure y'all subscribe to us and hit them likes.
Jose and B.
All right. We are the Lunch Break Hot Take. We do a live stream every Wednesday night at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by the Overtime Show, which you can find on patreon.com/LBHT show. Also, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at LBHT Show. And like everybody here, we are available wherever you listen to podcasts. So if you're listening, make sure you give us a 5-star review. And like Mikey mentioned, Ring Kings podcast, same thing. We put out videos. We try to put them out every Monday, but you know, they're out every week. Every week we got a video. Wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star review, and you can follow us and all your social medias at Ring Kings Pod.
Anything to that be?
Not to that, but Hendo, I believe, is going to be having a Saturday show as well, hanging with Hendo. Possibly. Listen. Possibly. This isn't firm yet.
It's not.
But if enough people in the chat want it, it'll be Hendo and Yolanda B. Raven.
Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
So you like old dude in the chat just
So
pulling information out of nowhere?
If you want to see that take place, put #1 in the chat. If you want to see that show take place with Hendo and Yolanda B. Raven.
Yeah, exactly.
#1.
What up, Yolanda?
Listen.
Oh, you're here.
#1 in the chat.
Yolanda came out the wing like, what?
I thought we were safe over here.
She sprung into action, boy.
Right. She's like, now they're gonna make me have to show my face.
But you can find me on Twitter at Coach Evans 9, on Instagram and TikTok at Sip the Tally Films. The second channel, More Sip the Tally, is starting to take off with draft videos. I've done 2 quarterbacks, 2 edge guys. And the first draft video on this channel will be tomorrow at some point. It'll be the TCU receiver, Johnston, who miraculously disappeared during the Georgia game. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. So please, everybody's link is in the description. So go, if you don't follow them already, please go and do so. And we appreciate you guys for coming through. Hit that like button before you leave. Make sure you're back next Monday for another episode of the Ravens Roundtable. And we'll just keep them with the dates since there's no Super Bowl for us. One day we're going to be on here, Ravens Roundtable Super Bowl edition, and it's going to be lit. With that being said, man, see y'all next Monday. Don't forget to tune in Wednesday. Lunch Break Hot Take Show, 7:15. Be there or be square. That's what the old people say. I'm telling my age.
Right.